I welcome and bring to the forefront Miss DJ, Lady P. Thank you.
I'm gonna put this. Can I have someone help me put this right here? All right. How's everybody doing today? Good? I need more energy than that. I need way more energy than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way because in order to unleash greatness, you have to also be vulnerable and honest. I'm not gonna say I am. I feel anxious. I feel nervous. I've learned along the way not to say I am, followed by a word that you don't want to be attached to you. Because when you do that, then you speak that over yourself. So whenever you say I am broke, I am anxious, you're declaring that over yourself. And I don't want to declare those things. So I'm gonna just get out the way of being human and say, I feel anxious and I feel nervous, but that does not have to be the complete and utter truth, right? It's just a feeling. Feelings come and they go. I say that because in order for me to have gotten to this point, I had to go through trials and errors. And I think people forget that you're not going to get it right the first time. So Thea, it's okay that it started at the time that it started because it was supposed to. Things had to, because her vision was so strong. And before I get to myself, because her vision was so strong and so real, a lot of opposition came with it. And I called her and I said, hey, were you attacked this week? Because I was attacked this week. And I'm not saying like just, not even just hiccups and stuff. Like, no, I literally, when I was trying to go to sleep, a demon came and attacked me to try to prevent me from getting to this point. The old me probably would have folded. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But this time I expected it. You have to expect opposition when you're called into position. And that's what I've learned. And so part of my story, what she said inspired, I didn't know. I was just talking. I was just being myself and talking. And oftentimes that's where the greatest change comes. I was born fully functional, everything working, everything great. I was a quick learner. I was very athletic, very charismatic. And at the age of 9, after a baseball game, my life changed. But first, wait, I'm skipping over a very important part. I want to give a special shout out to my grandmother and my mom who are here in the audience. This is the first time that they're seeing me in this space. I'm very fortunate to have my grandmother here. She's 90 and she will be 91 next month. I don't take that for granted because I don't know when I'll get to do this again and she'll get to actually hear me. So thank you, Mom and Grandma, for being here and for being just everything that has gotten me to this point. But back to, I was 9 years old. We were in the last, and matter of fact, close your eyes. I want you to envision this. It's very important for you to envision this moment. So if you can close your eyes and kind of envision this. We're playing a baseball game. It was at the very last play, and the last play was the make or break if we were going to win or not. They hit the ball, and I was in the outfield, caught it. We won the game. Crowd goes wild. Everyone goes. We leave. We go to the pizza parlor to celebrate, and I'm playing, having fun with my friends. All of a sudden, my head started hurting. And imagine a minor headache that you can kind of tolerate to an increased headache in rapid speed to the point where I'm screaming. And my mom didn't know what was going on. She's trying to figure out what's going on. I'm screaming to the point where it felt like my head was literally going to pop off of my shoulders. And there was nowhere for the pain to go. They rushed me to the hospital. And from what was reminded to me, because I had blacked out at that point, they discovered that I had what was called an AVM, which is an anterior venous malformation, where your brain is supposed to the veins are supposed to spread across your brain. Mine grew in like a ball of yarn instead of spreading across, and I ended up having a brain aneurysm at the age of 9. and it was sitting right on my motor strip. So imagine being a fully functional kid. There's no signs of it. You don't get any warnings, really. It just happens. And it was sitting right on my motor strip. They immediately had to do emergency surgery because it was a matter of time of whether I lived or whether I died. So you can imagine as a parent what my mom and my family and my grandmother were thinking, experiencing, and I'm not cognizant at this point. They could not take me to the hospital via helicopter. They had to get an ambulance. So imagine that window of time where your brain is bleeding. It's just going. So my first surgery, I ended up having my first stroke. They had to, and I believe that was my left leg. The second surgery they had to do because they had to keep removing the AVM. It was a very sensitive spot. Mind you, it's on my motor strip. The motor strip affects just all the functionalities. After my second surgery, I ended up having my second stroke. So not only that, they had to remove a piece of my brain in order to remove as much of the AVM as possible to eliminate me having another aneurysm, to eliminate the bleeding and to stop the bleeding. When I woke up, just not having the function of my left side anymore. How to process that at 9 years old. It changed. That's when my whole entire life changed. And initially, my dream was to be a WNBA player. I want to be the first female to dunk on the court. I didn't do that. That was one of my goals and my dreams, because I was a full-on athlete. And that's really where I feel like my purpose started. Most people will look at that as a tragedy. I am now 37 years old. I had my last brain surgery in 2018. I no longer have any more AVM in my head that I have to worry about. I am now able and capable to one day have children, where I was once told I was not allowed to have children. I'm walking, as you can see, I'm talking. I was fully paralyzed. I had to relearn everything, dressing myself, feeding myself, cognitive skills. I do have a learning disability that you cannot see. I was diagnosed as having cerebral palsy. I'm still epileptic due to the scar tissue that sits on my brain, but I take medication daily to control that, and I do have to monitor what I do, so that way, because seizures can still come, medicine only controls so much, so I still do have to monitor what I do to make sure that I don't have seizures, and every now and then, I do get a little hard-headed and overexert myself, and I do have some, but I always know when they're coming. But I'm classified in America as a disabled American, but I'm classified by God as his daughter first. I kept praying on what to say today. I was like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I have lives in my hands, because anytime you speak to people, every word that you say holds a currency. That currency will either deplete or either pour into that person. And so I was so nervous to speak, because I didn't want to say the wrong thing, even though I said yes to what I was called to do. I read a verse, Hebrews 2:18, that said, since he himself has gone through suffering and testing, he is able to help us when we are being tested. I don't know about you guys, but whenever we say yes to what we're supposed to do, how many tests do you experience? How many times do you fold in that test, and how many times do you pass it? I think it's important that we give ourselves grace sometimes, because we're a little bit hard. We can be a little bit hard. I know I'm hard on myself when I mess up. I'm probably harder on myself than anybody else can be. But I had to also learn, in going through counseling and different things, that giving yourself grace when you make a mistake is necessary. Still hold yourself accountable. Doesn't mean you don't hold yourself accountable, because you do. But giving yourself grace means you still have another chance to grow forward and move forward and do better and be better. I was also listening to Bishop Bronner, and he said something that really stuck out to me. And he said, who you choose to walk with determines your pace and your drift. And I had to really think about who I choose to walk with. If you're in a weak place right now, or you're dealing with some strongholds, who you're walking with is either going to keep you there or it's going to propel you forward. Thea, I think you have a really good team.
Thank you. Yes,
I don't think you're drifting. I think you found your pace, and I think the pace is increasing. And I think that's what happens when you find your purpose. The power of a hug scientifically unleashes pheromones that help eliminate stress, emotion, and it's everything you need, right? Have you ever had that good hug where you just did not want that person to let go of? So the acronym of help unleash greatness within a hug, that's what hugs do. They help unleash the greatness that we're holding in, the things that we're suppressing. And when you think about it, when you're unleashing something, you have to ask yourself though, what are you unleashing? Because you can unleash multiple things. You can unleash the toxicity that you're holding in. You can unleash greatness. You can unleash stress. You can unleash anger. But what are you unleashing? So you have to ask yourself, I want to unleash greatness, but right now in my present season, what exactly am I unleashing unto myself as well as others? Because what you unleash on yourself is what you're going to project on everybody else.
yes.
Even when you don't know it. There are some people who are walking around angry, and I used to be mad at the person, but when you look at the person and you try to understand where is that coming from, it helps you to kind of navigate how to deal with that person, or if it's your assignment to deal with that person at all. And in my life and what I've gone through, even as a DJ, I love what I do because music brings people together of all different demographics.
Yeah.
But the most powerful thing that I've been able to do is talk to people and pour into people when I'm DJing using just my personality. Doing everything one-sided since 1995 has not been easy, but it's what's normal to me. That is a part of my greatness. So people are, oh, I can't believe it's a part of the call, it's a part of the greatness, it's a part of the purpose. And the other thing I want to leave you guys with, I know I have 15 minutes, I don't want to take up too much time. Aside from unleashing greatness, there are different levels of wealth. And I want to ask, what is the wealth in your season right now? Time is a currency. Money is a currency, but money is a tool. People go and they chase and they chase and they chase after money, but they forget about the in-between parts, which is the time. It took a currency of time for you to even be able to obtain the tool and the resource of the currency that you use to get the house or the car or whatever. So I want to ask you guys, what is your wealth in this season? I don't believe things like this are biased on age, because I feel like you are going to learn until the day you die. The moment you think you've learned everything, you've learned nothing at all. So every day that you wake up, even if it's from a child or just even someone that you can't stand, something that they said, even though you couldn't stand it, taught you either about that person, about what you could tolerate, about what you could do, how you could maneuver and be a chameleon in that situation. I've had to be a chameleon in a DJ situation in so many times. So many times, Thea will tell you, when we did the event, we had so many different things thrown at us. I went from DJ to helping assist her with the itinerary to we gonna get through this one way or another. So, well, this person is, I said, well, then no, for the future, they're not called for that assignment. So you have to know. So I just want to leave you with some of those things to think about. Is one, who you choose to walk with determines your pace and your drift. And I hope that you choose to pace instead of drifting. Because even when you're walking a dog, when you unleash them, they have the option to go. If they've been brought up right and trained right, they will stay on the course that they're supposed to stay on. So when you hug somebody, remember, you're not just hugging them for yourself, but you're hugging them to unleash the greatness within them. Have a good day.
Give it up again for DJ, ladies, for those inspiring words. Thank you, sis, for those inspiring words.